And we all know what an extraordinary, unique, special person and artist Diane. Diane and Jack Nicholson at a table in a restaurant in Paris, and just watching those two legends but insult each other.
Diane Keaton's passing marked the end of an era, her fearless spirit and artistry leaving an indelible mark on film and culture. Few expected Keanu Reeves, her former co-star, to deliver the tribute that would move fans worldwide. His heartfelt words revealed a deep, private bond that surprised many and offered a glimpse into Diane's quieter, truer self. Beyond her iconic roles and fashion influence, their friendship has emerged as one of profound respect and sincerity, a reminder that the most meaningful connections often exist away from the spotlight, illuminating the humanity behind Hollywood's brightest stars. Keanu Reeves's unexpected tribute. When Diane Keaton passed away quietly in October 2025, few could have anticipated how deeply her loss would ripple through Hollywood and beyond. Among the many tributes, the most unexpected came from Keanu Reeves, a former co-star whose words stunned fans and insiders alike. Known for his reserved nature, Keanu's farewell was brief, yet profoundly moving, revealing a tenderness that caught the world's attention. His speech at Diane's private funeral did more than honor an icon. It hinted at a connection that transcended their on-screen chemistry. Keanu described working with Diane on Something's Gotta Give as one of the most meaningful experiences of his career, expressing admiration that extended far beyond the professional. He spoke of her gift for transforming solitude into light for all of us, a reflection that revealed the quiet depth of her spirit. His words, simple, sincere, and unguarded, captivated everyone present. For a man celebrated for his humility and privacy, this moment of vulnerability was both remarkable and unexpected. Speculation soon swirled about the bond he described, reigniting fascination with their friendship. Diane's life had long been legendary, yet Keanu's tribute invited the world to imagine the private truths behind her public image. His remarks felt deeply personal, as if he were speaking of someone who had touched him profoundly. What he expressed went beyond admiration for an artist. It was an acknowledgement of a human connection few had ever witnessed. Still, the funeral was small and intimate, but the words of Keanu instantly overflowed through social media and news portals, therefore getting the attention of worldwide fans. His steady and contemplative manner was different from the usual Hollywood tribute, and it was like Diane's own subtlety. His eulogy turned the public mourning into a new phase, thus sparking a new interest in the woman behind the fame. People wanted to grasp the light that he spoke she had in isolation. Thus, they were very attentive to every word he said. In a city that is characterized by extravagance, Keanu's discreet elegance had a huge impact. His choice to talk to the public meant that Diane was not just an ordinary person to him. She was a collaborator with a deep influence on him. His words were so genuine that they made it clear to many that the quietest of bonds are often formed in silence, far from the cameras and the public's expectations. Through his eulogy, Keanu showed the audience how Diane's unpretentiousness had affected the closest people to her. Nonetheless, he did not disclose all the details, which kept a certain degree of uncertainty around their relationship still. The fans retraced the steps of their past collaboration, looking for hints of the bond he had mentioned. Instead of that, they came across nothing but mutual admiration. Two creatives who, while being very different from each other, were still united by their honesty and sincerity. Keanu's homage was not just a farewell, it was a portal opening into Diane's imprint. His deeply felt expressions were letting in the time for contemplation, making people aware of the fact that the most powerful connections are usually those that come without any visibility. While the globe was grieving, his speech got through the very point that Diane was advocating all through her life, that grace, kindness, and true to selfness are the only real forms of art. After such a stirring homage from Keanu Reeves, it became essential to explore Diane Keaton's final days and how she prepared for a graceful departure from a life well lived, revealing the personal values that guided her last moments. Diane Keaton's final days and legacy. Diane Keaton spent her final months away from the public eye, surrounded by family and the things she loved most. She died peacefully in Los Angeles at 79 from pneumonia. Even as her health declined, she remained composed and private, facing life's last chapter with the same quiet strength that defined her career. Those close to her said she had prepared calmly for her passing, meeting it with grace and serenity. In her final days, Diane's love for the world never waned. Her devotion to animals and advocacy for the homeless continued, reflecting her lifelong compassion. Her family's request for privacy echoed the dignity with which she lived. She kept to her daily rituals, writing in her journal and photographing her garden, small acts of reflection that captured her enduring reverence for beauty and peace. News of her passing quickly spread, prompting tributes that illuminated the depth of her influence. Major outlets honored her legacy, celebrating her artistry and authenticity. Saturday Night Live closed its broadcast with a black and white photo of Diane, symbolizing how profoundly her absence was felt. The gesture encapsulated her role as more than an actress. She was an emblem of originality, courage, and enduring grace. Colleagues and friends offered deeply personal memories. Robert Duvall called her a true soul. Goldie Hawn remembered her as irreplaceable, and Bette Midler spoke of shared moments beyond imagination. Nancy Meyers, who had collaborated with Diane, said working with her changed her life. Together, their tributes revealed a woman whose kindness and creativity elevated everyone around her. A private funeral in Los Angeles was the venue for family, close friends, and a few selected collaborators meeting. The emotional centerpiece of the event was the eulogy of Keanu Reeves, while the atmosphere corresponded to Diane's choice of simplicity over glamour. No public memorial was, however, held, during which time the fans formed a small group outside the Warner Theater in Beverly Hills, spreading flowers and leaving handwritten notes next to the photographs from her most famous movies. The silent gatherings were a sign of the immense bond she had with people of all ages who went to movies in different times. The death of Diane was the end of a great era in the history of Hollywood. Her artistic career, marked by genuineness and courageousness, had already transformed the whole picture of women in the cinema. She proved that a woman character could be at the center of the story, have various dimensions, and be of any age. Nancy Meyers put it all together succinctly by saying that Diane was the proof that women can be the heart of the story at any age. Diane's life, apart from her career, was based on values and love. First, being a mother before 50, she took in 2 kids and talked without reservations about motherhood as a humbling and transformative experience. Her vulnerability brought out more of her humanity and showed the side of her that was both strong and gentle. After her passing, Diane Keaton's impact was still felt not just through the movies she made, but also because of the genuineness she encouraged in others. Her last moments, which were peaceful and purposeful, were a reflection of the dignity that her life had. Diane's legacy lives on as an artist and an example. She was a woman who lived and departed the world on her own terms. The deep sense of loss within the entertainment community naturally transformed into a collective tribute, reflecting Diane Keaton's lasting imprint on film and culture. Hollywood's reaction and mourning. Hollywood's response to Diane Keaton's death was immediate and heartfelt, revealing the depth of admiration she inspired across generations. Tributes poured in from artists and filmmakers who saw her as a rare blend of creativity, authenticity, and warmth. Mary Steenburgen, Jane Fonda, and Ellen DeGeneres recalled her as both icon and friend, an artist who brought grace to every collaboration. Directors and co-stars echoed similar sentiments. Nancy Meyers, who worked closely with Diane, said the experience changed her life, emphasizing how Diane elevated everyone around her. Robert Duvall called her a true soul, while Goldie Hawn described her as irreplaceable. Together, these voices painted a portrait of a woman who transcended celebrity to become a muse, mentor, and genuine friend. Her passing resonated far beyond Hollywood's inner circle. Saturday Night Live ended its broadcast with a simple black and white photo and silent dedication, a poignant acknowledgement of her cultural magnitude. It reminded audiences that Diane had not only shaped women's roles on screen, but transformed the way their stories were told. The gesture's quiet dignity matched her own. Fans around the world joined in mourning, flooding social media with clips, photos, and personal memories. Scenes from Annie Hall, Baby Boom, and Something's Gotta Give resurfaced everywhere, each one symbolizing a milestone in how Hollywood evolved. For many, revisiting those films felt like reconnecting with an old friend whose characters had mirrored their own hopes, flaws, and independence. Public memorials reflected the same devotion. Outside the Warner Beverly Hills Theater, admirers left flowers and handwritten letters celebrating her humor, strength, and humanity. The lines that formed each day illustrated the universality of Diane's appeal. She had touched lives across age, gender, and geography, leaving a mark that transcended fame. Industry insiders remembered her as a quiet force who helped redefine what a leading woman could be: intelligent, complicated, and entirely self-possessed. Colleagues spoke of her rare mix of wit, curiosity, and compassion, qualities that made every set she walked onto feel more grounded and creative. She proved that authenticity was timeless and that success could coexist with kindness. Her death also reignited discussions about women's representation in film. Many credited Diane with advancing the portrayal of female characters as independent and emotionally rich, rather than defined by their relationships to men. This shift opened the door for generations of actresses seeking more honest roles and for filmmakers determined to tell women's stories with nuance. Studio executives and collaborators alike remembered her professionalism and grace. On set, she was known for creating an atmosphere of trust, where artistic risks felt safe. Her absence, they noted, left a void both personal and professional, a loss not just of talent, but of spirit. As tributes continued, audiences revisited her work with renewed appreciation. What began as grief evolved into celebration, a recognition that Diane Keaton's artistry and humanity were inseparable. From private farewells to public memorials, the message was clear. Her influence endures, and the respect she earned remains profound. This deep outpouring of admiration and sorrow sets the stage to revisit key moments that defined Diane Keaton's extraordinary career and influence, tracing the path of a woman who reshaped Hollywood's understanding of independence and artistry. Diane's career, highlights, and influence. Diane Keaton's career was defined by groundbreaking roles that reimagined what it meant to be a leading lady in Hollywood. From the start, she defied convention, bringing authenticity and intelligence to every performance. Her breakthrough came with Annie Hall, 1977, a role so distinct and personal it earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. More than a box office success, the film redefined cinematic storytelling by placing a modern, independent woman at its center. Annie Hall wasn't just a character, it was Diane herself brought to life. Woody Allen, who wrote and directed the film, crafted the role as an idealized version of her, witty, vulnerable, and unapologetically unique. Her portrayal broke the mold of traditional Hollywood femininity, celebrating individuality rather than conformity. Even her wardrobe, loose trousers, vests, and fedoras, sparked a lasting fashion revolution that still influences designers today. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Diane continued to balance humor with emotional depth. In Baby Boom, she embodied a successful businesswoman navigating motherhood, reinforcing her image as a symbol of empowerment. Even after setbacks like The Good Mother, she turned challenges into opportunities for growth, choosing roles with greater psychological complexity. Her ability to evolve artistically reflected both courage and self-awareness. Her collaborations with major filmmakers further showcased her versatility. In Warren Beatty's Reds, 1981, Diane's portrayal of journalist Louise Bryant demanded emotional intensity and endurance. She later admitted to moments of exhaustion during filming, revealing her humanity behind the performance. This dedication to craft underscored her standing as a serious artist, willing to push boundaries in pursuit of truth. Diane's bond with Al Pacino, both in the workplace and outside, was a major feature of her trip through Hollywood. Their relationship lasted 2 decades. It was based on mutual respect and their artistic genius. She was speaking very honestly about herself when she said, "I told him, either marry me or let's end it." That was her unchanging demand for being real during her lifetime. She loved to connect, but didn't let the connection swallow her. She was a woman of independence that characterized her life and even her art. The decade of the 1990s marked the transition of Diane as the creator behind the lens. Her directorial debut in Unstrung Heroes earned her both acclaim and an Oscar nomination, a clear signal that she was a powerful storyteller through directing. Besides acting, she was still doing photography, writing, and designing, the arts that reflected her contemplative and observant character. Her appearing in those scenes again through the movie Something's Gotta Give, 2003, was a great surprise and was like opening a new chapter in her career. Diane, along with Jack Nicholson and Keanu Reeves, made it clear that at 50, a woman can still play the lead in a romantic comedy, just with her sparkling charm and elegance. The movie's success did not only eliminate the age barrier in Hollywood, but also reaffirmed her timeless appeal. The actress in 2006 became the global face of L'Oreal, not only a brand that stands for beauty and confidence, but also the idea that age is merely a number. She was a great force, not only in the cinema, but also in the realms of fashion, feminism, and self-expression. Diane Keaton's career is indeed a saga of hard struggle and perpetual adaptation, an everlasting legacy built on truthfulness, curiosity, and courage to live, perform, and create according to one's own rules. As Diane's influence touched the cinematic world profoundly, it also reflected the principles she lived by: independence and self-definition, which leads us to consider how these values shaped her personal life and forged an enduring identity. Diane's personal life and independence. Diane Keaton's personal life was as deliberate and fiercely independent as her career choices. Unlike many in Hollywood, she embraced a path that prioritized self-possession over convention. She famously chose not to marry, explaining that she did not want to trade away her independence. This straightforward admission cut through societal pressure and underscored her commitment to living authentically, without succumbing to roles that didn't suit her. Her independence was evident early in her career. On Broadway, she stood out not for rebellion, but for choosing her own terms, refusing to appear nude in hair, unlike many of her castmates. This decision reflected her resolve to control her narrative and maintain personal boundaries amid industry pressures. Her struggle with an eating disorder during this time revealed the tension between her desire for acceptance and her quest for self-respect, a battle she later overcame through therapy and inner strength. Motherhood arrived later, yet it became central to Diane's life. At 50, she adopted her daughter Dexter, followed by her son Duke 5 years later. She approached parenting with humility, acknowledging that motherhood taught her surrender and vulnerability, revealing a tender side that contrasted with her public image of strength. Becoming a single mother was another act of independence, choosing family on her own terms rather than following tradition. Her private life was equally shaped by compassion. Diane's long-standing support for the Helen Woodward Animal Center and homelessness initiatives reflected a kindness that was genuine and understated. She participated in adoption drives and fundraising quietly, illustrating a personal commitment to causes beyond fame. Diane's passion for photography and architecture became extensions of her personality, a means to see and interpret the world with calm observation. She spent much of her later life documenting historic homes and capturing everyday beauty, finding meaning in small details. These pursuits nurtured a reflective life away from the demands of stardom, reinforcing her balance between public success and private peace. The homes Diane designed and restored, including her Brentwood house, expressed her aesthetic philosophy: simple, bright, and deeply personal. Architectural Digest called it an aesthetic manifesto, a representation of her belief that living through beauty was an act of freedom. When she sold it weeks before her passing, it felt symbolic, a graceful, close to a life devoted to meaningful spaces, both literal and emotional. Her relationships, too, reflected self-awareness. Diane's on and off connection with Al Pacino was marked by respect and intensity, yet she maintained boundaries. Her candor about their relationship showed she valued clarity over ambiguity, refusing to remain on the sidelines of anyone's story. This unwavering independence set her apart in an industry known for blurred lines. In her final interviews, Diane expressed no regrets, saying she had lived her way. That sentiment, rooted in wisdom rather than pride, defined her philosophy: freedom as authenticity. Where Diane's personal convictions shaped so much of her life, they also deepened the meaning behind her friendships, including the profound one she shared with Keanu Reeves, an understanding that will help illuminate the stories yet to come. The bond between Diane and Keanu Reeves. The connection between Diane Keaton and Keanu Reeves extended far beyond the screen, revealing a rare friendship rooted in respect and quiet understanding. Their collaboration in Something's Gotta Give, 2003, offered the public only a glimpse of their bond, but behind the scenes, a deeper relationship grew, one grounded not in Hollywood glamour, but in mutual admiration. Keanu's moving tribute at Diane's funeral later illuminated that bond, offering fans a glimpse of genuine affection untouched by fame. In his eulogy, Keanu described Diane as someone who turned solitude into light, capturing a dimension of her spirit few ever saw, a woman serene in her independence, strong in her stillness, and radiant in her authenticity. His words revealed a connection that transcended simple friendship, reflecting an almost spiritual kinship built on shared values and emotional honesty. Rumors of romance followed the release of Something's Gotta Give, but Diane quickly dismissed them, calling Keanu a wonderful friend. Her response affirmed that their closeness was grounded in respect and creative synergy, rather than romance. Their friendship became an example of how true bonds can exist in Hollywood without the usual noise, based on empathy, trust, and admiration for each other's craft. On set, Diane's influence on Keanu was profound. For an actor known for his humility and introspection, working with her proved formative. He viewed her as both collaborator and mentor, someone who embodied self-assurance and lived life on her own terms. In his tribute, Keanu hinted at how Diane's authenticity had shaped his own understanding of grace and strength, lessons that lingered long after filming ended. Their relationship hardly made any sound, and at the same time it was a subtle challenge to Hollywood's ever-increasing demand for visibility. They were both privacy lovers, appreciating the deepness of their friendship more than the showy part. If public appearances did not characterize Keanu and Diane's friendship, then it was only the warmth, humor, and mutual encouragement that defined it. Keanu's funeral presence, along with the gentleness and care of his words, revealed not only sorrow, but also very deep appreciation for having had the chance to know her. This silent connection was a reflection of Diane's main life philosophy: to be honest, to care a lot, and to find the real meaning in life that is not a show. By his mentioning of Diane, Keanu implied that she was around people who appreciated being truthful and deep, rather than being famous. And she did it by nurturing bonds that were like her own silent integrity, relationships that were based on trust and disinterest in people's notice. Keanu's assertion that Diane never needed to be understood, yet made everyone want to understand her, truly defined her allure. It recognized her enigma while putting the spotlight on her kindness to others. Their friendship was that paradox, two kindred souls united by their respect and curiosity for each other, without any pretense or demands. When Keanu gently spoke at her memorial, his words connected Diane's personal world with the public's adoration. It was an instance of both vulnerability and honor, exposing the softness under both of their stoic exteriors. Their bond serves as a reminder that the most genuine friendships are often unacknowledged, silent, strong, and transforming. Diane Keaton's depth and grace also ripple through a broader cultural legacy, one that continues to inspire artists and fans alike, linking us naturally to the lasting imprint of her style and philosophy. Diane Keaton's enduring influence. Diane Keaton's influence extends far beyond her acclaimed filmography, shaping fashion, culture, and how women view themselves. Her menswear-inspired style, wide trousers, crisp shirts, vests, and fedoras, redefined women's fashion in the 1970s and continues to inspire designers and actresses today. Vogue and cultural critics have long noted how she made strangeness seductive, transforming individuality into elegance and turning difference into power. The ripple of her aesthetic can be seen in modern icons like Emma Stone, Kristen Stewart, and Cate Blanchett, who echo her blend of simplicity and daring. For Diane, fashion was never about flash, but authenticity, a reflection of independence and self-respect. Her signature look carried a message. True sophistication comes not from excess, but from confidence in one's own voice. That same philosophy shaped her artistic legacy. On screen, Diane championed women who were complex, imperfect, and central to their own stories, challenging Hollywood's narrow archetypes. Director Nancy Meyers once observed that Diane proved women of any age could lead a film, an idea that helped redefine the possibilities for female characters. She opened the door for nuanced portrayals, giving audiences women who were strong yet vulnerable, unconventional yet deeply human. Beyond her creative work, Diane's compassion fueled her lifelong commitment to social causes. She was a dedicated advocate for animal welfare, frequently supporting the Helen Woodward Animal Center and promoting adoption and rescue efforts. She also contributed to programs for the homeless, choosing quiet activism over grand gestures. Her philanthropy reflected a belief in empathy as action, an extension of her artistry and values. Despite her celebrity, Diane chose a grounded, private life. As a single mother and devoted caretaker of her rescue animals, she cultivated joy through connection and care. This humility contrasted with her cinematic charisma, reminding fans that true influence comes from how one lives, not how one appears. Her later years embodied grace and perspective, proof that presence, not publicity, defines legacy. Diane also left behind an intellectual and creative footprint through her memoirs and photography. These works reveal a restless mind engaged in reflection and reinvention, always exploring beauty and meaning beyond the screen. Her essays and images invite readers into her inner world, a blend of curiosity, humor, and vulnerability that deepens her artistic portrait. For anyone confronting aging or reinvention, Diane remains a symbol of resilience. Her late career success in Something's Gotta Give reaffirmed that relevance is not bound by youth. She showed that authenticity and experience create their own kind of radiance, inspiring women to embrace time rather than resist it. In her final reflections, Diane expressed pride in having lived her way without regret or apology. That sentiment captures the heart of her legacy in an age obsessed with perfection, the courage to be oneself, wholly and without compromise. From the profound friendship she shared to the cultural footprints she left behind, Diane's legacy challenges us all to rethink what it means to live purposefully and to leave an indelible mark. What Keanu's words mean for fans. Keanu Reeves' tribute to Diane Keaton resonates deeply because it reveals the heart behind her legend. His words show Diane not merely as a Hollywood icon, but as a woman of authenticity, strength, and grace. Through his reflection, fans glimpse the soul behind the roles, a person whose kindness, vulnerability, and wisdom shaped everyone she encountered. When Keanu spoke of Diane turning solitude into light, he touched on a truth that defines her legacy: the power to transform loneliness and hardship into compassion and creativity. It's a reminder that resilience isn't loud. It's the quiet courage to turn pain into art and empathy. Fans see in this a lesson about embracing challenges as sources of insight and beauty. Keanu's remark that Diane never needed to be understood, yet inspired others to understand her, captures the essence of her mystery. That paradox drew people in, creating connection without demand. It redefines her enigmatic nature as a kind of strength, a reminder to embrace complexity in ourselves and others, valuing the unspoken stories beneath our surfaces. He also honored Diane's generosity and professionalism, qualities that endeared her to those who worked with her. Fans gain a new image of Diane, not as a distant star, but as a collaborator who uplifted others with respect and warmth. In an industry often marked by ego, she stood out for her humanity. Through Keanu's eyes, fame becomes secondary to character. The subtlety of Keanu's words mirrors Diane's quiet influence. She inspired change without spectacle, proving that leadership can be tender, not loud. For fans, this challenges a culture obsessed with attention, encouraging admiration for integrity and humility. Diane's legacy, as Keanu framed it, calls us to live authentically, to shine gently but powerfully. The funeral of the actress was attended by Keanu Reeves, who, with his quietly eloquent words, dares to claim just how large her influence was. Reeves's remark goes to the heart of the matter. It is not selling points that define a great person, but rather the number of hearts he or she has touched. The fans are now certainly feeling vindicated. The greatness of Diane goes well beyond the film industry and straight into the personal and emotional lives of many who were inspired by her. The actor's thoughts indirectly contest the place given to youth in the cinema industry. Diane's life in showbiz, though full of transformations and being true to herself, has shown that the source of one's being current lies in one's authenticity, not in one's age. Keanu's statement is a reminder that the combination of experience and honesty produces a quality of beauty that is to be everlasting. A beauty which Philip's humanist approach considers a universal one, not subject to change by time or fashion. Keanu finally threw some light on the silent yet effective strength of a true tie-up. The community of the two stars, which was composed of respect and understanding, signifies that the strongest power often develops in the moments of everyone's else oblivion, rather than in the public eye. It encourages the fans to prioritize authenticity and keep close those who silently influence us. In the end, the homage of Keanu Reeves to the deceased actress opens up a rare opportunity for the fans. A glance at the real Diane Keaton, a creative, free, and kind woman whose aura was the essence of the traits mentioned. Diane Keaton's story is one of fearless artistry, quiet strength, and genuine connection. Keanu Reeves's heartfelt words remind us of the profound impact one person can have beyond the screen. If Diane's journey touched you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories about Hollywood's unforgettable icons, and watch the next video shown on the screen to continue exploring the legacies that shaped film history.